expose himself as a Shiite. So the person who started the Barelvi movement was a Shiite who hated Islam and Muslims and who hated the companions of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, especially Aisha radiallahu anha. His opponents accused him of getting a secret aid from the British government. This unseen hand, because where did he get his money from? He never used to work. But then again, sometimes people give him money, handouts, because Indian Muslims are extremely kind to their imams, respectful and kind to their imams. So because of that, he exploited the sincerity of the Indian Muslims. So he lived by handouts. Also, sometimes he would go inside his house in a bag which he said was the blessed bag, and he would dip his hand in the bag and take out money and the jewelry. So he would stay in his house, never worked, but he said he can go in this bag and keep on taking out money, and the jewelry, and dazzle people with his jewelry. And his enemies claimed that this money was given to him by the British Empire. So his enemies accused him of getting money from the British Empire. He was a drug addict. He used to eat the Indian betel leaf, and he used to smoke something called the hookah. Does anybody know what is that? What is hookah? Huh? No? The pipe. Okay. Or the water pipe. It's in Saudi Arabia. They call it hashish. Hookah. He was addicted to hookah. When you go to Mecca, you will see people smoking, unfortunately, long pipes, and when you smoke it, the water, you can hear the bubbling of the water. And sometimes people put cannabis inside and smoke. Now this person was addicted to hookah, and whenever he had guests, he used to greet them with hookah. And whenever he fasted in Ramadan, he used to break his fast with hookah. He preferred to break his fast with hookah than to break his fast with food. And whenever a person goes for Hajj, he used to ask them, did you visit the grave of the Prophet ﷺ? And if they replied yes, he used to kiss the feet of such a person. As regards to his personal manners, we have already stated that he was severe to his opponents, meaning people like you and I, who we call Wahhabis, people who are not grave worshippers, people who don't celebrate the Prophet's birthday, people who practice Sunnah instead of Bid'ah. He was severe to these people, callous, hard-hearted, and he used to pronounce them kafirs, the Wahhabis kafirs, and he said they are the worst of apostates. And he hated the Deobandis as well. He hated the Deobandis and he pronounced them apostates. And because of his callousness to the monotheists, the people who are monotheists, his followers used to leave his side. And he used to refer to them with harsh words like dogs, swines, devils, liars, kafirs, apostates. These are the words he used to refer to the people who he classified as Wahhabis. The period in which the Barelvi lived was one of trial and catastrophe for the Indian subcontinent, because the brutal British colonial power had real power over the Indian subcontinent. They took a complete control over them in 1857. The British took a complete control over the Indians in 1857. After shedding their blood mercilessly and dashing their glory to the ground, smashing their power, hanging every single ulama, every scholar they could find in sight, to the gallows, expelling their leaders from their homeland. The imperialists believed that the Muslims were left completely devoid of resisting power, which could check their interests, usurpation and pillage. There was only a sparkle in the ashes. They thought that its source lay in the Muslims in general and in the monotheists, the people who practice monotheism specifically. So the British thought that the greatest or the biggest bone in their throat was not the Sikhs or the Hindus, but the Muslims. So they needed to start a movement which would dampen the zeal and enthusiasm of the Muslims towards jihad. The English writer Hunter has written in his book, The Indian Muslims. In page 32 of his book, he praised the barelvis. So he said there is no danger to the British in India to their power except from the Wahhabis, for they are causing disturbance against them and agitating the people under the name of jihad to throw away the yoke of obedience to the British and their authority. So he cursed the monarchies, called them Wahhabis, and he praised the barelvis, how subservient they were to the British. So the British have always been demonstrable in their hatred of Islam and Muslims. It was the British who created the fitna of Kashmir. Whenever they colonize Muslim lands, they leave behind a problem for you to fight with your neighbors until eternity. So the problem of Kashmir was concocted by the British. The problem of occupied Palestine, in which the Muslims are fighting the Jews for Palestine, that problem was left behind by the British. And the problem of Somalia as well was created by the British. The problem of Turkey, in which the Greeks and the Turks fight over Cyprus. And Cyprus is Muslim land because Cyprus was conquered by Muawiyah, the sixth caliph. He became caliph after Hassan. 6 months after Hassan gave him caliphate. Muawiyah conquered Cyprus, therefore Cyprus is Muslim land. And the British, they leased it from Turkey and they didn't give it back to Turkey, they gave it to the Greeks. So this problem was created also by the British. And it was the British who supported Salman Rushdie in his slanderous novel, The Satanic Verses, and they spent £2 million a year for his security. And more recently, the Shiites, they lifted the fatwa because they themselves are not convinced about their religion. Also, the British tied our hands behind our backs in Bosnia with arms embargo so that the Serbs will be able to completely slaughter us out, claiming that they cannot tolerate a Muslim homeland in the heart of Europe. So the British at no point in time did they hesitate to express their hatred for Islam and Muslims. So the British, they concocted the movement, the barelvis movement. So the British, because they know that they cannot destroy Islam, it's impossible to destroy Islam. What they do, they corrupt the minds of the Muslims. The Aqidah itself they cannot destroy because the Quran is for all times. But what they do, they misguide the Muslims by starting the Qadiani movement. There's a prophet after Muhammad, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. And they started the barelvis movement, claiming that jihad is no more. And any movement that comes out of the Indo-Pak subcontinent and they quote a fabricated hadith, Jihad al-Nafs, Jal al-Akbar, such a movement is a concoction of the British imperialism, the British Empire. Any Muslim that you see coming from that part of the world quoting the fabricated hadith to fight the nafs is the greatest jihad. And it's unfortunate that the Deobandis, they quote this hadith as well. It's very unfortunate. Jihad al-Nafs, Jihad al-Akbar, to fight the nafs is the greatest jihad. This hadith is fabricated, and any movement who quote this hadith, such a movement is a concoction of the British Empire. It's a conspiracy of the British Empire. So the British, they started the barelvis movement in order to pollute the minds of the Muslims and to take them away from jihad. So this person, Ahmed Rida, he claims that those people who fight jihad, they are disgracing Islam and Muslims, and that they are kafirs, and he cites the ayah, all who believe, يَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ وَأُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنكُمْ فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. All you believe, obey Allah and obey His Messenger and those who are in authority from among you. So he claims that the British are in authority, therefore they should be obeyed. But then again Allah said, minkum, from among you. So the same ayah which was quoted by Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, he cited the same ayah. So what the British did, they brought about two kafir groups, Qadianis and barelvis. There's no doubt that they are kafirs.